Solidarity. Solidarity. Women are great. Our gender. Train a woman. Solidarity. Comrades, good morning. You are welcome. Please, may we be seated. Let's take our seats. Those outside come in, and let's balance the sitting arrangement. Let's balance the sitting arrangement, please. Let's balance the sitting arrangement. Thank you. The president of PENGASSAN, doubling as the president of TUC, past presidents, CWC members, NEC members, comrades, all affiliate unions here, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We are beginning the program for this morning, and we will start with the national anthem. Please, may we rise as we take the national anthem. This morning is the second stanza of the national anthem, and may we please recite it together. O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and living just and true, great lofty height attain, to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Thank you. You may be seated. Let's take the solidarity song. Soli, 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 so. We are singing so. We are shouting solidarity forever, for the union makes a strong victory. Victory. In a struggle. Yes, there is victory for us. Forward, forward and backward, backward never in the struggle for our union. There is victory. Great PENGASSAN, Great Nigeria, Aluta, Victoria, women are great. Women are great. Our gender. Train a woman. Train a woman. Solidarity. Solidarity. Thank you very much. Please, you may be comfortably seated. Mr. President, we have to lay emphasis on the slogan for the women because this morning is majorly for them. I was looking for one of the dresses that will resemble or depict or replicate or look like the women's own, but I couldn't find any. But I found a woman that will also do justice to today's event. But before then, help me put your hands together as we welcome to give his opening remark the president of PENGASSAN, who also doubles as the president of Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, Engineer Comrade Festus Osifo. A round of applause, please. Let's clap for him. He's a people's president, generally known as a God-sent president, that he's doing wonders. The chief host of this event. Clap until he gets up here. A dynamic, vibrant young man. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pastor Comrade Dr. Elder Umbok. The living ancestors. Our most distinguished past presidents of PENGASSAN that have been with us since Monday. They actually arrived at Abuja on Sunday. The four of them, they've been with us, but two are right here this morning. Elder, former President Owoduni, and former President Ogunt. You are highly welcome this morning. Then to the Deputy President of PENGASSAN, the General Secretary of PENGASSAN, the Secretary General of Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, CWC members of PENGASSAN, the NEC members of PENGASSAN, the zonal officers, the branch executives, and the Congress members of PENGASSAN. I wish you to join me this morning to welcome our invited guest. And amongst them is Dr. Mrs. Lami Ahmed. She's a board member of NNPC Limited. Then I learned that Madam Rose Eshet, she's on her way here. She's the GGM of Comdi. She will join us very, very soon. Then we have somebody we always refer to as the mommy. She has been here with us since Monday. Madam Mrs. Evie Ifekwe. She's the Executive General Manager, Human Resources. But they said they have changed the name to People's and Talent Management. But it's fine. I still refer to her as EGM, HRO, Total E&P. Because if I say People, Talent Management, you may not, it's not, but when I say HRO, everybody tend to understand what HRO means. Total Energies. Then we have Madam Betty Oguna. She's the Pioneer Chief Innovative Officer or Chief Innovation Officer of NNPC Limited. So you will agree with me that this morning we have the who is who in the industry, the women that have shattered a lot of glass ceilings, the women who are first amongst equals, and they have achieved enviable heights in their respective fields. And I want us to stand up and give them 3 bozas. Because for you to have attained some of these heights over the years, it takes a lot. It takes a lot of hard work, it takes a lot of dedication, and it takes a lot of selflessness. So join me to give them 3 bozas. 1 to go. Boza, boza, boza. Thank you so much, comrades. So today we will be looking at some issues that are bothering around contract staffing. Okay, again, we are also going to have one of the ladies who have been strong, who have been tough, and who fight for the cause of Nigerians. You know, before a unionist will sing a praise of a director of trade union services in Ministry of Labor, you know that she has discharged her duties above board. Anybody that have been to Ministry of Labor, maybe in the last 3 years, or those that goes to Ministry of Labor then in Port Harcourt before she was moved to Abuja, will know who Mrs. Ackman is. Mrs. Ackman is somebody that is thorough. Mrs. Ackman is somebody that will tell you exactly the way it is. In fact, when she was moved from that position, a lot of us felt bad. A lot of us felt bad because she tells truth to power. If you like, you are MD of any company. If you like, you are CEO of whatsoever. If you like, you are the minister of any department. Once you are on the wrong side of the law, Mrs. Ackman will tell you on this, it will not work. So that was why we invited her this morning to talk to us about casual staffing and casualization. Because this is one of the issues that has plagued us in this industry, not just in the oil and gas industry alone, but across the length and breadth of industries in Nigeria, where you have people that are working, equal job, but different pay. You have people working in the field. One will be so-called permanent staff. The other will be so-called contract staff. Doing the same job, one will work 14 days, he or she goes back home, then the other person will come in to work 14 days again. The same job. But their status are different, remunerations are different. This is a clear case of injustice. One of the greatest constraints that trade unions has passed through in Nigeria is because our institutions are weak. In other climes, it is difficult as an expatriate for you to get paper to even work in some certain countries. In some certain countries, the terms of engagement between the employees and the employers are well spread out, and government agencies, they enforce them to the latter. For example, if you want to work in Angola, it takes a lot for you to be given the permit to work. Then after 3 years, you are expected to leave no matter whom you are. Before you get exemption after 3 years, it takes a lot. But here in Nigeria, business as usual. So it puts a lot of pressure on us in trade union because the government institutions are not representative. The government institutions are weak. And again, the issue of corruption. We have laws, but these laws are circumvented. There's a particular company in Nigeria today that will face very, very soon. I mean real soon. If you go to that company, you have more Indians working in the company than Nigerians. You have more Indians working there. You have Indians as vulcanizers. You have Indians as gatesmen. You have Indians as welders. These are skills that we have in Nigeria. But who gave them permit to come to Nigeria? It's the government. The same government that is saying that they want to create jobs. The same government that is saying that they want to do everything possible to ensure that Nigerians are employed in a country where you have over 33% unemployment rate. We give permit to all manner of people to come to this country to work. A job that a primary school leaver can do. So, comrades, in the next few weeks, in the next few months, we are going to brace up because the challenges ahead are daunting, but we are quite sure that with the right collaboration and with the right partnership, that success is ours. So I wish to enjoin us that let us relax. Let us take the backstage. You know, today when they said, they were thinking only women will come. I said, not everybody must come. Oh. The male, the guys, we need to listen. Let us hear from our panelists. How did they get to where they are today? We can also pick one or two expo, but not to displace them, but to support them. Women are great. Women are great. Our gender, train a woman, build a woman, no woman, solidarity, PENGASSAN. Thank you so much.
Please, let's clap for the president. Let's clap for him. Let's clap for him. You're welcome, sir. Now we're going to run quickly into this. My president, you were saying men will not come. No, I don't see us functioning without the women, and the women functioning without us. Everything is interwoven, and we've got to just stay like that. So we have to come and hear them, and they have to hear us. One of the things I've learned about the women is that what they have belongs to them, and what we have belongs to them. So we have come to the realization of that fact, and we have lived with it over the years, and we can't do anything about it. Thank you. And it's only the women that can become so many things in our lives at various stages of our lives. I need to keep it at that point, and let's move on. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a very nice and smooth day today. But before I do that, let me once again introduce the noble ladies that are here with us. Formally, once again, please help me celebrate Engineer Mrs. Betty Ugonna, who is a Pioneer Chief Innovation Officer, RTI NNPC Limited. She is here, a mother. Please wave. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Seated beside her, she has been with us from day one, is Evie Ifekwe, who is Executive General Manager, HR Total Energies. Please put your hands together for her. Put your hands together for her. Seated by her side is Mrs. Lami Onayi Ahmed, who is a board member of NNPC Limited. Please put your hands together for her. Madam Rita Quento, who is a Director, Energy, Innovation, Research, Technology, and Innovation in NNPC Limited, just walked in. Please, let's put our hands together for her. You are welcome. This is creme de la creme of the women in our country. You are welcome. Mr. President, we are going to take just another opening remark, this time from one of the panelists that we have here today. Please help me welcome Mrs. Lami Onayi Ahmed to come and give us an opening remark. Please put your hands together for her as she comes up.
Thank you so much. Thank you. My job is very easy: to give an opening remark on behalf of these beautiful women seated here. I like to bring you greetings from the chairman of the board of NNPC, distinguished Senator Marjorie Chuba Okadibo. She was also supposed to be here. I am so impressed with the speeches that have been delivered just now, particularly from the president of PENGASSAN and the different cheering songs that were given to the ladies. That was very reassuring, knowing that the ladies are at the right place. Can we give a round of applause for the leadership? Can we give a round of applause for the leadership of this association? God, who created us, has summarized everything. And all we need to do is just to understand the working of God and the message He sent to us at the time of creation. From the few holy books I am privileged to know, it was said that in the beginning was the Word. God created everything. He didn't create a woman in the beginning. Do you agree with me? He created every other thing in His mind. And then when He looked back and saw the sadness and the sorrow in the heart of Adam, who ordinarily supposed to be happy, then God knew that in spite of all the beautiful things He has created for the benefit of Adam, Adam could not be consoled. What did He do? Adam could not be consoled. So He decided to create a woman. He has all it takes to create a woman alone. He also decided to create a woman from the body of Adam. Yes, clap. Clap for yourself. Particularly the men should clap for the ladies. Yes. And it was said that when He created Eve, and Adam woke up to the realization that he has a partner, he became happy. And God also looked at everything He created, and He was happy. Please, let's clap for God. So, that goes to support the songs that was sung. When you train a woman, you train the whole world. Without a woman, there is no world. Thank you. So, my opening remarks this morning is to appreciate the leadership of PENGASSAN. I used to be one. And year in, year out, you can see that leadership is getting better. Because we are waking up to the realization that collaboration, engagement, committed leadership with transparency and honest purpose in pursuing all the things that we need to do to protect our jobs, the welfare of our members, and also to see that the right thing is being done. because those you work for and yourselves are actually pursuing the same vision and mission. It's only when we get better understanding and give mutual benefit that an organization can grow. So, it's of particular importance that this PENGASSAN Energy and Labor Summit of 2022 is very important because I know that the theme which says energy transition and its effect on the workforce in the Nigerian oil and gas is further to expose us to what is happening in industry and how we can take the best advantage of the opportunities that there are. And therefore, can these opportunities go without the women? No. But women need to be exposed, supported, motivated, and inspired to walk this journey side by side with the men. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A round of applause for her, please. Mr. President, Dr. Lame have said quite a lot of things which I would have loved to join that, but let's leave it for that and for now. Let's leave it at that. Yes, Adam was lonely. And someone to help Adam was made. But what was made, God didn't make it. It was Adam that called a woman. God made an help meet, meaning come and help me. Bring money and let's work together. So why is their money their money? Okay, let's leave it. Okay, we are not going there. Mr. President, just walking in is one lady I've lived to admire and loved, who have been in the forefront of everything good, everything lovely. She doesn't have any reason not to give you what belongs to you. Please, ladies and gentlemen, just help me celebrate Mrs. Ackman that is here. And please be reminded, we are live on Channels Television. We are live on Channels Television. Mrs. Ackman has been in the Ministry of Labor, and she has worked there severally, and she is to give us a presentation this morning on casualization and contract staffing. Please, I want you to all rise up, and then you will understand why I am introducing her that way. When she finished talking here, then you will know who is talking to you. Help welcome her to come and speak to us. Mrs. Omoabia Yu Ackman. A round of applause for her. Please clap until she gets here. Thank you. She will come, trust me. Yes, please receive Mrs. Ackman to speak to us.
Thank you so much. Please have your seats. Thank you very much. I'm overwhelmed, but I thank you. Let me start by thanking the leadership of PENGASSAN for inviting me to this August event. As you must have been told, I have a paper to speak on casualization and contract staffing. And I just gave the flash to one of your members. I'd like them to put it up. Oh. Thank you. Right, it came up so we can start. We're talking this morning on the issue of casualization and contract staffing. Let's go to the next slide. We have the paper outline. Please go to the next line, just telling you how the paper will be presented. Next one, please. Okay, I think I should walk with in which case I will need my glasses, isn't it? Get my glasses. Right. I'm sorry about this. I rushed here. So it's a lot of, it's a great case. Just pick it up. Uh-huh. Thank you. Right, as a matter of introduction, we are all aware that there are new forms of employment that differ from standard work arrangements, and they are becoming increasingly prominent in the world of work. So these new forms of employment are brought about by several social, economic, and even health developments. And of course, we all are witnesses to what COVID has done to our world. With COVID, the issue of remote working has become common. We also are aware that the need for more flexibility by both employers and workers has brought about issues of contract work. For example, there are women that would want to spend time to nurture their children, and so they would choose to work on non-standard work arrangements. Increasingly, of course, we all know that the technology, increase in the use of technology, has also changed the world of work. In that, it's possible to even have somebody working right here in Nigeria, but he's communicating through the instruments of technology. And then, of course, perhaps the reason why we are here and what we'll be discussing much this morning is the issue of organizations wanting to focus on core businesses. And that's an economic or social reason why the work pattern are changing world over. So in Nigeria, you have different forms of work models. For the purpose of this presentation, we will be looking at casualization. We will expound on contract staffing. I need to quickly say that another word for contract staffing is actually outsourcing. We will look at that comprehensively because I think that is what is agitating most of our trade unions, and that's what you will want us to interrogate more than any other thing. We will also highlight some benefits and challenges that are inherent in this business model called contract staffing or outsourcing. Of course, because of the agitations that we have had on the part of trade unions, government had to intervene to curb what many may consider as labor exploitation. So, while rounding up, I will try to list those policies that government have adopted to curb what many will call unfair labor practices, and then we'll conclude. So we start then with definition of casualization. Of course, we know that casualization is an old terminology in the world of work, and it actually traditionally refers to a situation where an employer recruits worker on ad hoc, seasonal basis and pays them usually a daily wage. In this arrangement, the workers are expected to be available only when required. For example, in farmlands, during harvest, traditionally, the farm owners would bring in more hands to assist with the load of work during harvest season. But in international literature, casual work may also refer to work conducted when defined periods or within defined periods or during peak periods of business activities when individuals are engaged to complement full-time workers. Just talking about women, maybe a good hand or a necessary hand goes on maternity leave. An employer may decide to bring in somebody just to fill in the gap. That's in international literature. And in the past, the issue of casualization was actually limited to unskilled workers, just like I said, farmers, or people that assist in construction sites, just to assist in moving things from one place to the other. But recent developments in the world of work shows that skilled workers are now engaged as casuals, and in some cases have become an integral permanent workforce and are referred to in some workplaces as permanent casuals. And I think as trade unions, you are aboard that term, right? So this development is what has made casualization synonymous with contract staffing or outsourcing, because both are temporary in nature and expose workers to what is described in labor parlance as precarious work. Generally, precarious work is defined as employment that offers compensation, hours, security, and other conditions of work that are inferior to regular full-time jobs. So you will say there's some degree of discrimination in terms of conditions that are attached to people that are employed as contract staff or casual workers. So we go and then define. So of course, with that definition, you know that there is an overlap between casual workers and contract staff in the sense that both are actually temporary workers. They are not regular full-time workers. But let's go further and make a distinction on the topic contract staffing and outsourcing in its true sense and in our climb in particular. So contract staffing or outsourcing is a global phenomenon which has also gained ground in Nigeria and has become one of the most discussed business models of our time. Generally, there are two types of contract staffing or outsourcing. The first one being service contract staffing or service outsourcing, where an organization contracts out a non-core aspect of its operation to a third-party organization which is specialized in that particular activity for a fixed fee, without regard to the number of workers or the wages paid to the individual worker. The reason adduced for this adoption of this business model is the need to concentrate on areas of core businesses. For example, you all know that many of the oil companies now have contracted out certain aspects of their operations. And you'll see that in the next slide. We note that what activities that are not considered as core businesses in most of the oil companies have actually been contracted out. For example, we know catering, security, and cleaning services. But it goes beyond this. And I'm sure many of us also know that there are things like logistics, call centers, in some cases, that are contracted out to third-party organizations who are expected to provide specialized services to the principal company. The other type of contract staffing, which perhaps is the most controversial in our climate, is the manpower outsourcing. And manpower outsourcing is a situation where an organization recruits manpower other than as full-time permanent staff through third-party called labor contractors or private employment agencies. And so it's an agency arrangement. And what they are going to be providing the principal company is actually manpower. It's a body shop. Individuals will be provided. And for the company that is engaged in manpower outsourcing, the only business they do is to just look for workers to go and provide for another company who is now the principal. Some of the features of this arrangement is that where there is a contract employment between the labor contractor that engages, please go back, that engages the manpower, or the PFA, that engages the manpower and the staff deployed to the principal organization. No such contractual relationship exists between those staff and the principal organization, such that you can even approach a worker in a workplace and say, who is your employer? And they become confused because, of course, they are going to be assigned to the workplace where they will be delivering the services. So this kind of remove the issue of a worker being able to be assured of who his employer is at any point in time. And it has been an area where employers have tried to hoodwink workers or trade unions, because at times you don't know who to hold responsible when issues arise concerning the set of workers. In this arrangement, the principal organization will determine the wage of each worker. You know, for the purpose of service contract, the principal organization is not bothered about headcounts. Just provide me with food for my staff. It's your business as to the number of people you bring. And oftentimes, it's the service contractor that even provides the equipment for better service delivery. But in this case, the principal organization will actually dictate the wage. And then the person providing the manpower will get a markup, usually 12%. And that's how it works. Now, as we go on, we'll see the reason adduced for this. In Nigeria, again, manpower contract staffing is common with banks. It's common with all companies. Some years ago, I did a thesis. It's one of our major IOCs. And I discovered that it was only like less than 1/3 of the staff strengths that were actually full-time workers. And in this arrangement, it's really, in reality, it's not really about core areas of businesses. It's just a way of ensuring that certain things are not given to some people. It's discriminatory, really, in reality. And many of the organizations that we have mentioned, we have manpower contract. It's very common among the IOCs, among the banks, among the telecommunications, and hospitality industry. Let's go to the next slide. There are features that makes this kind of work arrangement or business model distinct and we could say abnormal because it's not what we are used to. In the first place, like you heard me say, you may not as a worker be able to identify who your employer is at any time. And when you really meet very unscrupulous employers of labor, by the time you start to wake up to your rights, they will say the contract has ended, and then they will renew. They will bring in another contractor and give employment to them. And then you find a worker actually becoming a commodity and not a worker, in the sense that they just pass them from one person to the other. I recall that I think about sometime last year, we had a case in one of the oil servicing companies, and the National Assembly invited to Federal Ministry of Labor to come and assist them in a case of public petition. And this were a group of workers who claimed that they had worked in a particular organization for upwards of about, in some cases, 20, 30 years. And at each point, they will be passed on to the other, such that after 30 years, of course, they were looking for terminal benefits, Abi, and then it became a controversial issue. And then they asked us from Federal Ministry of Labor to come and provide guidance as to how they will resolve the matter. And you know, I found it very interesting when one of the management staff trying to describe or defend their position, I think she said something like, oh, we just passed them to another person. He didn't want to use an employer, another agent. And, you know, by the time they asked us, the terminology was so derogatory that you notice that they have actually turned the worker to a commodity. And so we had to address the issue and call them. At the end of the day, I think the National Assembly said labor should guide on how to resolve the issue, and that required us to go back into history to check documents to be able to establish who to really hold responsible for the payment of the terminal benefits that some of these workers were demanding for. Because, of course, they were now old drivers. They were old, and their contracts were being terminated, and there was nothing to fall back on. They became desperate. And I'm sure that is also some of the reasons where we have labor, organized labor, wanting to confront this development headlong with a view to ensuring that their members are not shortchanged. So we note that aside from the fact that we may not be able to identify who to be held responsible in terms of obligations to workers, another issue is it changes the work arrangements in such a way that you are working for somebody, but you are not in the premises of the person you are working for. You are in the premises of another. If issues ungrievous procedure arise, you may have to go through what lawyers may call double jeopardy. In the sense that the principal company may say, we don't want this person again. And then we will start looking at what the grievance procedure, if they have any, for the direct employer is, and see what to apply. So aside from that, another issue that becomes a subject of controversy, which we have tried to make clear here, is that in most cases, they may say you are not allowed to belong to trade unions, but oftentimes I say, even if that is in your contract, or maybe in the course of having interview with an employer, and they tell you, oh, if you want this job, you are going to avow that you will not join a trade union, what we call yellow dog contract. I say go ahead and sign it, because the law actually stipulates that if anybody inserts such a clause, it's null and void. So go ahead. By the time you start exercising your right to join a trade union as guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic, we come to Federal Ministry of Labor, we read the Riot Act and say, any such thing cannot stand. So, so don't get agitated over such clauses. Yellow dog contract, it wouldn't start. So, but when we now establish the fact that the issue of joining a union is a worker's fundamental human right, the question then arises, which union? Remember that this workman is working for a man that may not even have an office until recently. A man that he may not even know. We have actually moved forward, because let me explain that traditionally when this phenomenon started in the country, it was such that it is actually the IOCs that will actually engage these workers. Usually it started because they wanted to pacify the communities in which they were operating. And so they just go to one chief and say, just give us 6 or 10 people. So at that time, even though it is the IOCs that would issue the letter, but they will put it in the name of whichever company that the community leader gives to them. There's a big departure from that practice, and you'll see that as we go along, because Federal Ministry of Labor in many ways has tried to streamline the practice or the engagement of contract workers and outsourcing. There's a departure. So in the original situation, or how we started this journey, it was possible that you will meet a worker and say, who is your worker? And they will tell you, it's Shell. And then when you look at, if they have letters of employment, it's another person's name, because the worker believes that where he's working is where the employer resides, and that is the person with whom he has a contract. But in reality, it was not so. There's a big departure from that, even though we have not really been able to sanitize the whole process. But I shouldn't jump the gun. As we go on, you will understand it better. But then I was talking about the issue that will immediately arise. Which union will this worker belong to? For the purpose of service contract, what has been established by Federal Ministry of Labor. Remember, service contract is a specialist in one economic activity that is given his service in that activity to another company, which is the principal. So for those that are engaged under service contract arrangement, we say that it will be the economic activity of the company that is providing the service, irrespective of where the workers will be serving. I think that's clear. But for the purpose of the manpower, and that's why it's possible for a private employment agency or a labor contractor to have many workers that their membership of trade union cuts across different industry. So for the manpower service contract, the union to which the workers will belong will depend on where they are serving. So that's a clear distinction. And in this case, it is actually the principal that provides the equipment for the service delivery. The agent only gets a fraction, which is 12%, usually. Let's go to the next one. Now, as trade unions, there's been a lot of contestations whether the practice of contract staffing or outsourcing has a legal backing in our climate. And I want to talk a little bit about that. We will refer you to the interpretation section of the Labor Act, Cap L1, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, precisely section 91. That's where you have the interpretation section. And that section defines an employer. We're taking it together. It says any person who has entered into a contract of employment to employ any other person as a worker, either for himself or for the service of any other person, and includes trade unionists, the agent, right? The agent, manager, or factor of that first mentioned person. So this is a legal backing that justifies the agency arrangements as at today. So, and I can tell you that this has also been put to the test in our courts, and they have given rulings that outsourcing or contract staffing is actually a lawful practice in Nigeria. So with that, the best thing the Federal Ministry of Labor can do is to see how to streamline the contract staffing arrangement, to give a human face to it, to ensure that workers are not denied their rights. And as we go along, we'll talk more about that. So let's go on. Next slide, please. Now, even though employers claim that the main reason for adopting contract staffing or outsourcing is to focus or concentrate on core businesses. But you know they are employers. The major thing is to increase profit. when they reduce costs, automatically they have much more money to play around with. So that's really the main reason. But going down to the issue of focusing on core businesses, of course, then it also has an advantage because it encourages specialization. For the principal company that has decided on focusing on its core business and then outsourcing other areas of non-core to other organizations who also have those services as their core activities. So in that regard, it's a plus, it's a benefit, especially to the employer organizations. Of course, economics, we talk about division of labor. It's also applicable here, and each time we apply that principle, there will be the principle of efficiency, because the more, I think it's my phone, please check. The more you focus on a particular work or activity, the better you become. At least if you are applying yourself to your job, you will improve. So in that regard, we could say it assists in the issue of efficiency and automatically we can also say productivity. But even though I say that, but when we look more, and you'll find that into the overall consequences of when you people start shutting down, when you people start closing